We spent the past couple of years in a crazy hot market. Louisville home sales decline as demand outpaces supply. Effective communication is at the core of any situation. If you master these two ideas, you'll have a chance of being successful at residential real estate marketing. I think you need to be looking for investment opportunities that move the needle. The market will never crash if demand exceeds supply. This is what I've been telling you all along.
This is the Jay Pitt Show.
And we're back, folks. Welcome back to the Jay Pitt Show here on Talk Radio 1080. A little exuberant today. Excited.
Yeah, I'm a
alive.
champion.
What's that?
I'm a champion.
You're a champion? Are you no
golf
sleeping?
scramble.
Oh, you are a golf scramble champion, which we all knew. He's not even actually a champion. He may have swung a club a few times on Monday, but he was not a member of the winning team.
Oh, I was the coach.
He was the sponsor and coach.
It's even better. It's like you're the owner of an NFL team. I own my team and bought them all, and they all played.
You
won.
bought them all. They all played, and you won. What was the final score? Because we had a respectable outing.
21 under.
21. We were 11, which I might have snuck in 12. I think it was 11, though. 11, which considering we had never golfed
That's good.
ever.
For the team you had.
I'm a 21. Well, this is not a gross net situation, so I got no favors for being a 21. I had an 8 index, which is essentially your handicap, an 8 index coming off of wrist surgery 8 weeks ago, and another healthy 8 index that consumed copious amounts of alcohol. But that's neither here nor there. I think it makes him play better. 11 under, we were proud of. We were very proud of.
And what he's talking about, we've talked about on the show, it was the Remax Premier Properties Charity Golf Scramble for Children's Miracle Network, and raised $10,000 more than the previous year.
Yeah, really close, if not all the way to. We're still compiling final numbers, I think, but really close to 35,000. We were right at 25 last year, so pretty exciting to get to 25 in year one was astounding. To think that we would have improved upon that by $10,000 or nearly $10,000 is equally astounding.
Yeah. Everybody I talked to, or the people I brought, loved it. Thought it was one of the best scrambles and just had a blast. And the weather was...
The weather was amazing, but we heard the same things last year and we had miserable weather.
Yeah.
And I just think what I've noticed out of most scrambles is they've become very serious. Very... about like trying to win and like everyone. Now I know you won. Obviously you put together a serious team. There are all your clients and friends. They just also happen to be good golfers probably because you're a really good golfer. And the thing is, we go the opposite way. Winning is a thing. But we have fun with it. And we have fun with it at an amazing course, which I think is a combination you don't see often. You see really fun scrambles at trash golf courses, right? And you see really serious, have to win scrambles at really nice courses. You don't ever combine the two, which is I think what everybody really wanted. I don't know. I thought it went well.
Yeah, we thought about talking about bad golf courses, doing the draft on this show as the worst golf courses in Louisville. We're staying away from that for now, but we'll get to it eventually.
We may revisit.
Yeah,
there's a few good goat patches out there.
Yeah, I think that's something we could bring in. We could start doing the worst stuff instead of the best stuff too. Ooh. It's still a draft.
Ooh, I like it.
So
I like it. Okay. All right.
We'll never run out of drafts.
No, we won't. We won't. We'll just do it. So we are going to do another draft today.
Yep, we are.
Do we want to tease that a little bit?
Yeah, it's not going to be until the end, but it's going to be our favorite bars, I think, is what we decided.
Yeah, local bars.
Local bars. And we decided to leave it open-ended. It could be a bar you go to late at night that maybe college kids go to.
Or could be a dive bar. Could be a fancy bar.
Any bar.
Any bar. We're good. I don't think it's going to be like a cigar bar. Like this is an alcohol themed situation.
I don't know.
No, they serve good alcohol at most cigar bars. So maybe you can throw one of those in there. Just can't be no alcohol. Right?
All right, that's fair.
Not a hookah bar.
Yeah.
How about that? Is that fair?
I'm sure there's some of those in Louisville still. But.
I'm sure there are. Anyway, no, I think it'll be fun. Yeah, Golf Scramble was a success. Do we want to talk about our famed Bellarmine alum?
Yeah, go ahead. You're the baseball guy.
Dude, so, I think I've said on a previous episode that I was 1 year removed from the previous most successful, probably Bellarmine baseball player ever, Todd Wellmeyer, right, who was a local kid from, I believe, Eastern High School that pitched in multiple major league organizations, had like a 10-plus year career in the majors, was a third-round draft pick. He got drafted in, I want to say, this is the 2000 draft, so it was right before I arrived on campus in the fall of 2000. But now I think Brandon Pfaadt has certainly done his part to surpass that.
Yeah.
At least, in the postseason for sure. Now, he may not have as long a career. We never know that. But the heights of his career so far has probably surpassed what Todd did.
Do you think he made himself $100 million this series?
There's a good chance, man. So that's interesting you say. So I know Joe Blanton quite well. I don't know if you remember that name. Joe Blanton was a number one first-round draft pick out of the University of Kentucky. He played with my good friend Mark Galvin there. I know Joe very well. Joe famously was a Moneyball pitcher under Billy Beane in Oakland. He was an innings just workhorse, right? He would have 30 decisions, and like his good year would look something like he was 14-16 with like 350 innings pitched.
Wow.
Right? Because famously their job in Oakland was to get the ball in the closer's hand. The more innings that the starter could chew up with remaining in a position for the team to make a move to win the game, that's fine. He would have a 4.5 ERA. But this guy was a workhorse. He made an all-star team. He played in the World Series for Philly, famously hit a home run in the World Series, was not a hitter. I guess he just was seeing it something kind of good that day. Anyway, that guy I'd have to look up his earnings, but I want to say he made something like 80, 90 mil in his career.
And how long ago was that?
I mean, he's a year older than me. So he's been retired for probably 7-8 years, but and I'd have to look up his Wikipedia has it all. But 2004 probably draft pick, major league draft pick, first rounder, had an unbelievable career. But yeah, inflation certainly changes things.
Baseball contracts are insane.
They
now.
are. Well, I mean, play 162 games. Yeah. You sell a lot of tickets and a lot of beer in 162
You think
games.
they'll ever go away from 162 games?
No, I don't. One thing that a lot of people don't understand about this business of sports as it pertains to baseball is the players know what drives the salaries. It's the amount of games. They have a good offseason. It's not the wear and tear on your body like football is. Honestly, I think in terms of attrition, the basketball season is longer, than the baseball season. They make the money because they play the games. Mm-hmm. Pitchers only pitch every 4 to 5 days. Relievers work 2 innings a day every other day. Position players don't get the wear and tear. So baseball, the Players Association is better organized, right, than most other leagues. Really, the NFL is probably the least organized. The owners hold the most power over the players, non-guaranteed contracts, etc. I don't think the players are even lobbying for it to be shortened. In football, the owners are lobbying for a longer season. The players are pretty much against it.
Yeah. You're only playing 17 games or you get crushed.
Yeah, it's crazy. So anyway, that's fun. I think Brandon Pfaadt is, he is the kind of ambassador we want from a Bellarmine athlete. It's pretty exciting to see them on the map. And yeah, I think he probably made $100 million. Was that 3 quality starts?
Two really good ones.
A quality start is that there's an actual definition to it. It's something like 4 2/3 facing this many hitters. Anyway, a quality start is like an actual statistic. I think he technically had 3 quality starts. In terms, yes, his first 2 were better than the third. But it's awful hard to beat a team 3 times in a 7-game series as a pitcher.
I think his second and third were better. The first one's when he got rocked early on.
Did he really? Okay. Well, I'd have to. Yeah, my days are running together these days. Yeah. Anyway. October. I saw something. My wife actually shared something today, and this is totally the theme for our family. Is we're going to play a game for October, and it's called getting through October because it's about the busiest month of the year for us.
Okay.
Pretty crazy.
My wife and I were just talking about it. Feels like Halloween has been going on for 2 months already, and it's still a week away.
It does. It does. And people complain about, and I'm not a Christmas like really early kind of person. Halloween is like the longest holiday to me.
I mean, oh my gosh, it feels like it's been here 2 months.
I know.
And we live right beside Hillcrest Avenue.
Yeah.
So every night there's just people parked down our street, covering like half of our driveway. Like can't get in or out. It's a mess.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna have to be one of those grumpy people that goes and puts cones in front of my house. I'm not there yet, but maybe one day.
Yeah. No.
All right. We took up a lot of this segment. We're going to come back. So if you didn't know, a fourplex is considered a single-family residential. We're going to ask Jay about that, why that is. But in the meantime, we're going to cut to a couple ad sponsors, and we will be back on the Jay Pitts Show, Talk Radio 1080, real news, real talk. We'll see you in a second. Welcome back to the Jay Pitts Show, Talk Radio 1080, real news, real talk. I'm your co-host, Ryan Harris. All right, Jay, before we started this show, you were telling me an agent in the brokerage asked you, why is a fourplex considered a single-family residential, and why can you get a residential loan for something up to 4 units?
Yeah, so it was an interesting question, and it's just kind of one of those things that you have to, you have to just memorize. Like, there's not a rhyme or reason. I don't know why. It's kind of a mixing of like characteristics and criteria. What you need to know is that there are legal implications, there are practical implications, there are, financing implications to the language we use in real estate. And it's one of the most frustrating things when you first get started is there's like so many acronyms, there's so many like seemingly like just
there are a lot of acronyms.
There's a ton of acronyms. Well, SFR, single family residential. That's, kind of an appraisal term. So really, according to the Department of Housing and Urban Development, a 4-family dwelling, is considered single family. Up to 4 families can reside in a single family dwelling. Now, that can be, practically speaking, you can have a fourplex, which is a generic term that is kind of made up. It's not really a thing. But we understand that as 4 living spaces that are mushed together in some kind of way. Now, it could be 4 separate tax IDs that share interior walls like row homes or brownstones in a big city. But it's one structure that has 4 different taxable living units that have 4 different owners. It could be a building that is built with the intention of housing 4 different families, therefore separately metered for utilities, water, sewer, gas, electric, etc. Or it could be a single structure that is built with the intent to house 1 family that is large enough to be converted to 4 smaller units. In that circumstance, it is a single family dwelling with 3 ADUs, right? Accessory dwelling units. That's the terminology, another acronym, unfortunately. ADUs. A fourplex, I think technically, is supposed to reflect something that is apartments that are built as a single structure with 1 tax ID, but is meant to house 4 separate families, 4 separate parties. So here's the thing. If it has 1 tax ID, what really holds and overtakes all is the financing, because most people need a loan to buy a piece of property. So in this case, a SFR for financing, that is a financing acronym.
What's SFR?
Single family residential. An SFR property, single family residential property, is an up to 4 family dwelling, a structure designed to house 4 families, okay, that can be financed, and that loan can be sold to Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac on the secondary market for mortgages, and it meets their criteria for underwriting. That's what that is. Those are not ADUs. It's an SFR that houses 4 separate families. It's typically separately metered, which in Louisville is kind of crazy because we have like a mixture, this like hybrid, where for some reason city planners didn't ever want buildings like this to be separately metered for water, but they're okay with them being metered separately for electric. I don't understand it. What typically holds, though, why is a 4-plex considered a single-family residential property? It's because you can get a single-family residential loan.
Because they say so.
Because they said so.
Okay.
And that's it. I mean, but it's a question that if you're adjacent to real estate or you do some investing, right? Or you want a house hack, as is pretty popular now, right? For younger generations with affordability being an issue, they like to buy multifamily properties, 2, 3, 4 units, live in one, rent out the rest, take the positive cash flow from the rental, apply it to their own mortgage, therefore reducing or eliminating their cost of ownership. Like, that's a great tactic for some people. But, getting the proper financing is really important. So understanding the difference so you know where to apply, because trust me, you go to a banking institution, apply for a commercial loan with less favorable terms. If you qualify, they'll give it to you, and they're not going to tell you that this isn't the best loan for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Knowing where to go for the right financing is important, which is also something a really good real estate agent can help with. So I was very glad to hear from an agent in our office yesterday wanting to understand the difference. So I got the opportunity to explain.
Yeah, it's a great question.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the older homes in the Crescent Hill area or Highlands, St. Matthews that are duplexes,
Old Louisville.
triplexes, fourplexes,
Yeah.
all used to be big homes.
They were big homes, and now they are SFRs with accessory dwelling units. If they're not prevented, there are some like Old Louisville. There is a preservation district, right? They have reverted the zoning to what's called TNZD, Traditional Neighborhood Zoning District, another acronym, which basically disallows people from chopping big, beautiful old homes into 8 or 10 little apartments.
Yeah.
Right. But there are parts of town where that's still, and the ones that were done before, they're grandfathered and they're allowed. City doesn't come in and knock on your door and say, hey, you got to move out. You got to move out because this has got to be one family.
Yeah. Cool.
Yep.
All right. Let's see here. Let's move on. I have this article. It's titled, "What Will the Housing Market Look Like in 2024?" Before we go over it, I want to hear your predictions on what you think it'll look like in 2024 for the Louisville area. Don't really care about the rest of the United States right now. Let's talk about Louisville and Kentucky.
Yeah. So I'll answer that question. What I think. I should probably disclaim what I predicted for this past summer was wildly incorrect. With some shades of gray.
Yeah.
Like, I expected rates to recede back down into the high 5s. I thought I think the home appreciation piece you were correct on. I was, but that was hard to be wrong about. Unless you just were,
I don't know, read the articles out there.
Unless you're a doom and gloomer, which I wasn't, right? It's not hard to see that with artificially constrained supply, that prices will continue to rise. I could see that demand was stronger than everybody was making it out to be. But really, it wasn't the demand side that caused prices to rise. It was certainly driven by supply side, which is really constrained. Mm-hmm. It's constrained probably as much by inflation and the current state of the economy as anything, because you have national builders, large national builders that want to provide the supply. They want to be the solution to the supply problem. But the cost of labor, the cost of wage costs increases on housing, labor, and material costs are preventing them from being able to do that economically.
Time to get plans approved.
This is also true. So
getting harder and harder.
So anyway, I was right about that. I was wrong about the rates. I probably should have seen. When I made that prediction, what I was expecting is in the third year of any presidential cycle, the economy typically hits its peak for that 4-year cycle. And I expected that to be the case. And I think COVID and blowing so much money into the economy as a result of COVID really made that impossible. They had to wrangle inflation, so they had to continue to raise rates. Where I'm at now is I could see rates staying where they're at for another year.
Yeah.
I could see, winter of 24 to start seeing some relief going into a more robust 25. If you think about it, a big story that is looming, right, in the commercial markets is the survive until 25 kind of talk, which is people that took out adjustable 5-year fixed balloon rates on commercial purchases where demand has subsided substantially. Those loans are going to reset during 25 and 26. So that is a big issue if the commercial market remains in the condition it's in now. When those loans start to adjust or reset or be called due,
which I think it will.
It's really good, but to buoy some of those challenges, it would be nice to have a reduction in rates offering some relief to some of those parties. Like, there's still going to be flameouts, right? There's still going to be big projects that go bust. There's still going to be apartment complexes that default that are at acceptable levels of occupancy because it's just the market was just overbuilt and oversupplied for a while.
So if you're a real estate investor out there looking for different rentals, you're saying it might be best to wait till 2025?
No, I'm not. I'm really not, because I'm investing now. I'm buying 4 houses right now. I've never once in my career bought 4 houses at one time, and I'm doing it right now with the highest rates at the highest prices.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I believe firmly that the constraint in supply is going to make prices continue to rise. And when rates start to taper, what I'm saying is, a year from now, when rates, if rates start to taper, demand is going to surge and prices will continue to rise like crazy. So my prediction is we need to hit singles, another decrease in units that is buoyed somewhat by increased prices on volume. And I think the best will get better and be ready for the rebound, and the worst will flame out. More constrained in terms of agents. Heard something the other day that over 100,000 loan officers, residential loan officers nationwide, have left the industry.
Wow.
So anyway, that's about all the time we got in this segment. We can continue after the break right here on Talk Radio 1080. We're going to cut to some sponsors, and we'll continue the conversation after this.
Welcome back to the Jay Pitts Show. This is Talk Radio 1080, real news, real talk. I'm your co-host, Ryan Harris. Almost forgot my name there for a second, but I remembered it.
It's dad life.
Yeah.
We used to call that, my wife, we call it the baby brain.
Oh, somebody asked me his middle name the other day, and it took me like 3 seconds. I was like, oh, yeah, this is it.
Yeah. Seriously, my wife said after she started having kids, it's like she feels like she lost a lot of brain cells.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I have. I'm not saying Jen has. Jen's, yeah. Might have sounded like that.
She had some. She could afford to lose some. She was doing all right. My wife is kind of a genius.
All right, let's wrap up our previous conversation about what the housing market will look like in 2024.
Yeah,
Jay, in one sentence, I want you to give me your prediction.
In one sentence,
you can use a lot of commas and ands.
A lot of commas, ands, semicolons. I think that new construction will continue to drive a good portion, if not the plurality of the supply.
Comma.
While demand will continue to wane in moderately priced move-up buyers and sellers, comma, luxury continues to perform better than expected.
What price point's that to you?
Here, 800 plus,
okay.
700 plus. And first-time home buyers continue to accept less while making their first purchase as opposed to renting.
Yeah. So starter homes are going to change a little bit
from
what they look like the last couple of years.
Yeah, it won't be 300.
I had a conversation with some people at lunch yesterday about the term starter home to me is ridiculous because it's subjective. It's
Very.
different for everybody.
Very.
But it might start looking a little more the same for everyone here, is what you're saying. So,
Yeah.
all right. I think that's a good bow on that. Let's move on. Jay, I was curious because I was thinking about this morning. Are there any movies or shows that you'll make your kids watch once they're of appropriate age?
Make them watch movies or shows. I tell you, I really enjoy, my son's into all sports, my 11-year-old. I really enjoy like watching like old, like from my era. Like, you remember when like Michael Jordan had like highlight movies? Are you familiar? You're probably way too young for this, but Michael Jordan had,
I do not remember,
a series of videos. One of them, the one I can remember the title of, is called "Come Fly with Me," and it was just like essentially like highlight movie. It was like an hour long, and we watch. It's on YouTube. You can find it on YouTube. So we like, he and I will watch it because I'm pretty pro MJ in the GOAT debate, and so we talk about that. And my son shares my opinion, by the way. He does not appreciate.
Of course he does right now.
He does not appreciate anyone trying to say that LeBron is as good as Jordan.
So when I'm thinking more along the lines of like the Goonies, or E.T.
so it's
or
funny.
Stand By Me.
Yeah, the make word really is what caught me there. We enjoy watching stuff like that. So we've watched the Princess Bride, which is like an 80s like cult favorite. Carrie, I think it's Carrie Elwes. How do you pronounce his name? Carrie Elwes. And who's the actress that played Jenny in Forrest Gump? Like, those two are like
That's another one, Forrest Gump.
yeah, but like we've watched that. We've watched the Never-Ending Story. That was another cool one from my childhood. We haven't quite gotten to Goonies yet. I don't think we might be there with Preston. We've not done that, but like cult classics from like my childhood. Jen and I enjoy. It's just getting increasingly more difficult to do that with Preston because as his siblings get older, they're around.
Yeah.
We used to be able to put them to bed and have a movie night with Preston, and when he was 9 or 10. Now he's 11, but Evie's, getting old enough that she wants to stay up.
I'm even thinking like shows like Breaking Bad. I mean,
Like,
that's iconic show.
when he's 17,
Yeah.
probably. I'm not
He'll
going to
probably watch
introduce.
it before then,
I'm not
but-
going to but I'm not going to introduce him to meth making. Like before he's a little bit better age.
age. Drake hired like Jesse Pinkman and Walter White. I can't even think of their actual names.
Yeah.
But to work his party, they were the bartenders at his party.
Like as a joke, or
They were there working, making drinks for people. I don't know what that
I did
cost
not.
or what he had to pay to get them to do that, but
that
and they looked like they knew what they were doing.
that's pretty funny. I had not heard about that, but that's a riot.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. That leads me to my next question. When you were growing up, like, were you allowed to watch R-rated movies and stuff?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, child of the 80s, like there wasn't a lot of worry about things.
R-rated movies were different than they are now.
it was
too.
it was, but like, yeah, my parents didn't censor much of what they did. We do much more. We censor much more of what we're willing to watch in front of the kids. My dad would, like, if something inappropriate, let's say, came on the screen, in a feature movie, it was the cover your eyes kind of thing, and you were doing this thing.
I used to watch
Probably.
Tosh.0 with my dad, and whenever my mom would walk in the room, he'd change the channel real quick.
I did see something the other day about the last button on the remote. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like,
No, the remotes don't have that anymore.
the remotes don't have it.
It stinks. It's my least favorite thing about.
Well, the lag was
streaming
The
now.
lag was streaming. You can't do anything fast. So
You really can't.
no, I was allowed to do pretty much whatever I wanted. I mean, like, within reason.
Yeah.
My parents were good parents, but they were not helicopter parents. My dad was pretty chill.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Have a couple other questions here, but you want to move on to, you were talking about girl math earlier.
Well, this thing, I can't.
I've
This
seen
phenomenon.
videos talking about it.
They're a riot. So I believe, and we'll have to fact check this.
So
Go ahead.
I don't think I've seen as many videos as you have. So You want me to give you my interpretation?
You
of
give it to me, and then we'll talk about it more.
So, my interpretation, just from how my wife does things, if something is $19.99, let me say this: if something's $70 to her, it's $50, not $100.
Okay.
Or if she saves 20% on a $100 purchase, thinks she's saving $20 and not spending $80.
Well, that's kind of part of it. That the first one you said, I don't know.
It's always rounding down.
I don't think that's a central. We might need to add. There needs to be an addendum to the girl maths. There are many, girl math tenets that we can discuss here. One of the chief ones is that if you pay cash for something, it's
free.
It's basically free. Is the thesis of girl math. So. It's basically free is what they always say. If you pay cash for it, the bank account does not reflect a deduction, so it's basically free. If you buy something at Target,
I can halfway agree with that one.
Oh my Lord. If you buy something and then return it and use the money you got returned to buy something else, the new item is free.
Yeah. I saw the video you're talking about.
Okay.
Right now.
And all this is, so I saw another one that referenced, and I think this, we're going to have to fact check it, but I think this originated in a radio show in New Zealand. There's this like crew, and they're hilarious. They're like comedians that run a talk radio show. And this couple of girls on the show like got into this conversation organically about how they look at their purchases, and they termed it girl math, and it started to become a regular segment. So maybe we should do guy math on the Jay Pitt Show. I don't know. But anyway.
You know what I think it mostly, I don't even know if it's as much girl math as it is generation math. Like,
I don't know. Maybe you belong to the girl math side.
Yeah, like cash is not really part of everyday life anymore. Like,
I can see that, but it's still your money.
Yes.
It's yours.
I know.
But anyway, that's neither. I'll tell you my version, and I'll here in just a second. The example that I thought was the most hilarious is they're talking about Taylor Swift tickets, and they're obscene in cost, right? Mm-hmm. And they were talking about how this caller was traveling to another country to go to a Taylor Swift concert, and so they had to pay for the flight, then they had to pay for the hotel, and they had to pay for the tickets. And they bought tickets to two different shows, okay, on like the 4-day run,
yep.
Right? Which a lot of people, I guess, they're kind of extra do as well. But they were talking about how it was basically free because she didn't have to buy tickets corresponding with each of the I think it was 4 shows she went to. She only really had to buy one flight. And so they could deduct that from the cost, and it was basically free.
Yeah.
Here's my version, and I'll leave it with this. When I buy something out of the business account, it's a write-off.
Yeah.
It's basically free.
Yeah.
That's my version. You know what I mean? Like, since the government's giving me a discount on
your team
whatever
might
the
start
item
asking
is,
for more things.
That's what I'm saying. So I need to be careful with that. But yeah, I can't. I am of the opinion that girl math must suffer a miserable defeat. I cannot allow this to stand. Not in my own household. Not as if I have a chance. By the way, the power of the purse isn't what it's supposed to mean in my house.
Yeah, you don't stand any chance. But all right, we're gonna cut to a couple ad sponsors. We're gonna do the best bars in Louisville draft after the break. We'll be back. Talk Radio 1080, Real News, Real Talk. See you in a sec. Welcome back to the Jay Pitt Show. This is Talk Radio 1080, Real News, Real Talk. Jay, what do you think about this? So, if the Chiefs make the Super Bowl, Taylor Swift has a concert, I believe, the night before in Japan. Do you think she's going to make the trip to the Super Bowl? And then I think the day after the Super Bowl, she has a concert in another country. If she's still dating Travis Kelce, do you think she'll go from Japan, show the night before, fly to the Super Bowl, and then go back? I think yes.
Okay, so here's the thing. I will notice the amount of endorsements that Travis Kelce has right now is absolutely obscene. absolutely obscene. I'm smelling a bit of psyop situation here.
I don't think so.
I mean, they may like each other.
There was a quote that came out from his dad that
I want to say, here's what I want to believe. I want to believe, because I think I absolutely believe that it was orchestrated. I want to believe that they just happen to also like each other very much.
Yeah.
That's what I want to believe. But like, man, it's getting a little crazy. And I don't know, like if I was her and I saw what it's doing for him, I might be a little suspicious.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's neither here nor I'm not saying he's a Hall of Famer. Trust me. Yeah. I've seen the videos about like the trolls or the husband saying he's making this
I like
singer.
it. If we can get the Swifties after us.
It's funny. We can get them after us. That's fine. No, here's the thing. I think that there's probably some technology out there that Taylor Swift has access to that we don't even know about, and she could fly around the world like it's like hypersonic speed, so she can come from Japan to the Super Bowl and go back to.
It's called a very nice private jet.
Something.
All right, let's do our local bars draft. So we have done so far best restaurants in Louisville, best events.
Yeah, best events.
Which I think I won the best events one.
Don't you always think that you won?
Well, what'd the poll say? Can you look it up right now?
I don't remember.
That's
why.
I
think. No, I genuinely don't know. Hannah, do you know who won the poll? He won like 6-5, so he thinks he won. Like the 11 people that voted. Sorry, we just don't get that much run.
All right,
We're gonna get back to this
so we have time to finish.
We got a rock paper scissors for first draft five.
Okay, how many are we doing? 3 or 5?
I assumed 5, but I can
just see how many we get through.
Okay, let's do that, and let's actually instead of rock paper scissors, Hannah, pick a number 1 through 10. In your mind. Oh no, you're not supposed to tell us.
Pick a new one.
It's not 8. All right, you go first.
8.
7. Yep.
Yeah.
I was closer. What was it? 6. Yes.
All right, Jay
okay,
goes
so I
first.
get to go first with the first pick in the October 2023 draft of Louisville bars. Jay Pitts selects Shenanigans.
I had it on my list.
Bellarmine Dive Bar Shenanigans.
Had it on my list.
Eddie
Didn't
Cooper.
think it would go number 1.
Eddie
though.
Cooper, you are on the clock. No, I'm just kidding. Shenanigans, number 1.
Yeah, I didn't have it on my list.
It's
well, I did.
best-
Sorry, just didn't think it'd go.
I'm
first.
just gonna say best is subjective, and like that is best.
Well,
to
it
me.
definitely is subjective.
Best is subjective, and that's best to me.
Yeah. All right. My 1 for 1. I think you'll be shocked by this. Taj.
Okay.
Yep. Taj for sure. It's pretty much where everybody goes now.
Well, I was not
don't
trying
anymore,
to. I
but-
was not. Just so you know where my list is headed.
I like Taj,
I
though.
was not trying to be cool. My list is not trying to be cool. I don't even know how to spell Taj. Spell it.
TAJ.
Taj. All right, that was actually my guess. All right, let's go.
So I get the next one.
You
right?
do get the next one because it is.
All right.
It is a.
I'm gonna go with Garage Bar.
Okay. Was not on my list either.
Good. Means hopefully I don't have that many down here, so I hope you don't steal all of mine.
Okay. You're going to notice a trend. Okay, but this will not identify the trend. I'm going Highlands Molly Malone's.
Love it. Highlands.
Highlands
Molly.
Highlands Molly's.
You know what's crazy? When I was in college, it was the St. Matthew's Molly's. That was where everybody went to during the weekends and at night. It was that or Baxter Avenue on Wednesdays for dollar wells.
There you go. and Molly Malone's and Shenanigans were the top 2 bars I visited when I was a student at Bellarmine. And some things just never. Look, it's the same crowds in those places today, right?
The Shenanigans nights where there was either some kind of Bellarmine game on or you had like a snow day on a Tuesday and there was no school the next day. And let's go to Shenanigans.
That's it.
Snow days in college, nothing beat those.
Yep.
I really think they were the best. All right. My third pick, it looks like we're going to be doing 5 apiece. So my third pick, I'm going to go with, let's go with I don't know how to pronounce it. Hawks.
Oh yeah.
Hawks Corner.
Yeah. Not on my list either. Hawks.
Is
it Hawks?
I don't know. I'll tell you.
Spell it. Is it
H-O?
Is it Houcks?
I think it's H-A-U.
H-A-U. I think it's Hawks Corner. I still think it's Hawks, but you clearly know more about it than me.
I've only been a couple times. So.
Okay. Let's see. Number 3 for me.
You're going to get a vote from Emily for the Highlands Mall.
Well, of course I will. Of course I will, because she's smart. Let's see. I'm gonna throw the U of L kids of my era for sure a bone and take at number 3 the Granville.
I went there a couple times.
Yeah, it's a dive, and like I said, there's certainly a theme to what I've got going on over here.
Yeah, I thought about following that theme, but I'm not.
That's all right. Go for it.
All right, my next one. Let's go with a new one, Hotel Genevieve. Is that how you say it?
You got me, buddy. I'm too old and not cool for these places. Hotel Genevieve.
I mean, that's not true, but
I go to nice restaurants and bars at nice restaurants.
Same. I have another one.
I don't go to very many nice, although I'm gonna change that here in a minute. I'm gonna throw you a nice bar here in a minute. Number 4. So you are okay so far.
I have Taj Garage Bar,
Hawks Corner,
Hotel G.
Hotel G.
What people call
okay,
it.
so and then here's my 4. So I've got Shenanigans, Molly's, and the Granville. All right, so with my 4th, I'm gonna take Chex Cafe.
Nice.
Chex Cafe, number 4. Again, keeping with the dive bar theme. Ryan,
all right,
round us out with number 5 for you.
My last one, I'm going to go with, can I say Jeff Ruby's bar?
No, sir.
All right. I mean,
it's not a bar.
Nice. Repeal has a nice bar right around there, too.
It does, but that's a restaurant.
All right. Okay.
We both named those in the restaurant draft. I'm gonna. You wouldn't let me to have Safir Deli, so I'm gonna throw this one out.
Let's go with the Hub, or no, we'll go Gerstels.
Gerstels. That was on my list. I was not going to take it. I have my next pick already queued up, but I think that's a win. You might enjoy a vote from Mr. Faulkner because that's where the Purple People Eaters watch their games, the Vikings fans. So you might get some love there. All right, number 5 for me. I'm gonna go the Old Seelbach Bar.
Nice.
Have you ever been?
No.
Okay, the Old Seelbach Bar is literally half a block from where we sit. It's the bottom floor corner of the Seelbach. It is covered in oak. Huge bourbon collection, piano player. It's like the
might get some votes from buddy Cooper Musselman on that one.
It's gonna be it's a vibe for sure. It's its own thing. So I went 4 dives and a nice upscale bourbon bar.
All right. I think those are 5 good ones from both of us. So we'll see who wins. Go follow us on socials.
Yeah,
RyanHarris.re. And what's yours, Jay?
At J Pitts Realtor.
Cool. And so, when's this episode come out?
We're a couple weeks out.
Okay, a couple weeks. So that means I wanted to bring this up. We got about 45 seconds. The time changes. I think the day this comes out, right? Is it that Saturday when the time changes?
Probably will be.
So for college kids, it was always a fun night. You get one more extra hour at the bars. But nowadays, I'm worried about my son's sleep schedule that we have him
in
on.
my 40s. I wonder, why is it that we allow bars to stay open until 4 a.m. in the first place?
Yes.
And
you know,
6
it
a.m.
always
Derby
stunk
week.
going to like Lexington when you went
Bars
to
close at
college in
1.
Louisville.
2 is the time, right? Nothing good happens between 2 and 4, but you can throw the 1 a.m. kids an extra hour.
You always felt a little different when the lights came on in Louisville.
Oh, it was like, oh yeah,
It's 3:30.
What? Last call? All right. That's all the time we got for you this week, folks. Hopefully you enjoyed the local bars draft. We'll keep trying to bring you good local content. If you've got any questions, feel free to reach out to us on the socials. Interact with the show however you would like. But for this week, that's all we got. Jay Pitts here, host of the Jay Pitts Show on Talk Radio 1080. Ryan Harris, my co-host. We'll see you soon.
Peace.